God of War, man. This game has absolutely taken over my life for, I would probably say, like the last 2 weeks. Already finished the main campaign, which I absolutely loved. I think the game has dethroned my previous favorite game of all time, which was Persona 5. Um, it is that good. I'm pretty much done like most of the side content, and now I'm just working my way through these goddamn Valkyries. But yeah, suffice to say, man, the game is amazing. Absolutely love it. But one thing that I've definitely been curious about since the game launched was how well it would do commercially. And Sony has finally kind of given out some numbers on the game, like they usually do. Right? Like they definitely have this habit of releasing how well their games do pretty early on. It's become a trend, like especially with like Uncharted and Horizon. So definitely I knew the trend would continue with God of War. So yeah, let's talk about these numbers that just came out. So Sony announced today that God of War has sold 3.1 million copies in 3 days. 3 days, man. Like I had to read it over a second time. When I woke up, well, first of all, my eyes were like kind of sleepy since like I just woke up. But when I saw the 3.1 million, my mind automatically assumed that that would be like within its first week. But then like I read it over a second time and it said 3 days and I was like, holy shit, dude, like god damn. So I always had a feeling that this game was going to sell well. So that didn't come as a surprise, but just like in the amount of time that it was able to do it, I think was the most shocking thing. And why I say like I wasn't too surprised, is just because how hard like Sony had been had been pushing this thing. Um, they had this like oh god, like they have this thing called like the PlayStation like Fiesta Bowl or something like that, for like football, and they had an orchestra come out and they played like the God of War theme song, and they had like Kratos and Atreus on the field. They even played like a trailer at a Warriors game, like on the court. And just like the sheer like commercials that they did. I don't know. I just always got the feeling that this game was just being pushed and marketed like really, really hard. Um, and then even like it was one of those games that like you see at least people on Twitter. I know Twitter is definitely like a small vacuum and it doesn't really represent like, like a big amount of people, but at least from, the people that I see on Twitter, they were picking up PlayStations just for this game. I was also seeing like pictures of like billboards or just like buses that had these huge like posters plastered across them. Um, so yeah, man, like this game was being pushed really, really hard, and I don't know, man, and just on top of the pure excitement and energy that this game had, like surrounding it, I knew, like, I mean, you could just tell that people were clamoring for this game and people were excited, for this game. So, or just the fact of it selling well, I don't think was ever in question. At least to me, it just felt like one of those games that would definitely, um, you know, sell really, really well. So in comparison, so yeah, it sold 3.1 million in 3 days, making it the fastest selling PS4 exclusive ever. To compare it to Uncharted or Horizon, Uncharted sold 2.7 million in 1 week, while Horizon sold 2.6 million in 2 weeks. So it's insane, man. Like that God of War did more than those numbers, or better than those two games in just 3 days, man. That's insane to me. Um, yeah, man, I still can't believe it. But yeah, man, it just helps solidify the nonsense that you hear out there, especially coming from EA, that single player games just don't have the same impact as they used to. Um, or Phil Spencer when he also said that games like Zelda and Horizon, um, what was it, that they also don't have like the same impact as well. So you hear all these companies come out and downplay what single player experiences can do, but then you have games like God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn, um and other games like that show that know that there's still an audience that are clamoring and chomping at the bit for games like these, for games that take you on a story. There's still a big audience out there who wants these kinds of games. So I'm happy, man. I'm happy that that story focused video games are proving to still be viable for these companies. um yeah, it makes me really happy because these are, I mean, I look at my catalog of games that I currently have, and like these are the games that I primarily play. I love my story based games. I love, I'm playing the Yakuza series right now, which are basically, those are just story based games, and God of War and Nier Automata and Horizon and Persona and Uncharted, and the list goes on in my library of games that that I have. They're all story based games, and those are the games that I gravitate towards, and I'm glad that people are supporting them. So yeah, that's it for the video, guys. Thank you for watching. Peace.